This is Gemara in Makkos, Daf Yod, and we pick it up on the bottom of Tes Amid Beis. We are right after the Mishnah on Tes Amid Beis. The learning should be an incredible zchus. Refuah Shalema for Tinok ben Miriam Ahuva, B'siyata Dishmaya, B'soich Shahar, Chayle Yisrael. And on the bottom of Tes Amid Beis, we began the Mishnah of Ari Miklat. The Mishnah teaching us that there are shalish ari miklat bever yardain, there are shalish ari miklat in Eretz Canaan, and we started quoting the psukim. And we begin today with the Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan teaches the Gemara shalish arim hivdil Moshe bever yardain. Moshe Rabbeinu separated 3 cities in Ever Yardain, and Ukinegdan hivdil Yeshua. And Yeshua, opposite those 3, separated Kinegdan hivdil Yeshua. Beretz Canaan. So we have 3 of Moshe Rabbeinu, Ever Yardain. We have 3 of Yeshua in Eretz Canaan. And they were parallel. They were mechuvan. They were in a line almost. Like 2 rows of a vineyard. Chevron b'Yehuda, Kineged Betzer Mirbam. Chevron in Yehuda opposite. Batzar in the Midbar. Shchem Bahar Ephraim, Keneged Ramot Begilad, Kadesh Bahar Naphtali, Keneged Goylon Bibishtan. So those are the 3 of Yeshua. Continues the Braisa V'Shilashta, and you divide into 3 Shemushulashim. This means that the city should be spaced, that they're in 3 lines. Mishulash, we have that Mishulashin for Makkos, meaning you could split up. Now we have the areas are split up. Shemidar and Lechavron, that the from south of Chevron, Kimichavron Lishchem, like from Chevron to Shechem, Umechavron Lishchem, Kimishchem Lekadesh, interspaced perfectly. Umishchem Lekadesh, Kimikadesh Lisafon, Bever Ayarde, Bever Mikadesh Lisafon. Continues the Gemara, Bever Ayarde Tlas Eretz Yisrael. Tlas says the Gemara, I don't understand. There's 3 in Ever Yardain and there's 3 in Eretz Yisrael. And the last Rashi on the page, the last line points out that this is a kasha b'tmiya. Benachla shnei shvatim shalosh. K'may benachlas asar shvatim, says Rashi. It sounds like we want to have everything equal, but something doesn't really make any sense. Because says Rashi, the 3, they're in Eretz Yardain, just had Reuven and Gad and Chatzi, Shem and Menashe, and Eretz Yisrael have the other 9.5 shvatim. So why were the breakup the same? Amar Abaye explains Abaya, Begilad Shchichi Roixin. In Gilad, which was Evel Yardain, murderers were common, and that's the reason that accounted for the excess somewhat of Ari Miklat on that side. Tersev, as the Torah teaches us, as we turn over to Yud Amid Aleph, Gilad Karasa, Payale Oven, Akuba Midam. Gilad is a city of Payale Oven, of those who do evil, filled, Akuva, filled with dam. My Akuva Midam, what does that mean? Amr Avalazar, Shea Oikvin, Laharoig Nefashis. What that means is they were waiting in ambush to do what? Laharoig Nafesh, to kill people. Says the Gemara, what is the reason people on this side, those who are the north of Kadesh, and those who are on the Daran of Chevron, were far from the Arei Miklat? The ones in the middle, Demerkarvi, comes out, everything can be spaced out, but Lamaisa, those who are in the middle of Eretz Yisrael are going to be more essential. That's just the reality. And therefore, if they're going to be more essential, they're going to, by default, be closer to the Arei Miklat. Explains the Gemara, Amar Abaye, 5 lines down, Yulam and Aleph, B'shchanami shchichi roichsim, Dechsev, Chachi ish gedudim, Chaver kahanim, Derech yiratzchu shechma. My Chaver Kaihanim, what does the pasuk mean? Amar Avalazar, Sheimischavrim lahargu nefashas. They got together, they bound together to kill people. Lahargu nefashas. like Kiko Yohanan Malalu Shemachavin Lachalik Chumais Bebeis Agranis. Vesuleka says Gemara, not only that, Vaksiv says the Gemara, there are only 6 Ari Miklat, but the Torah teaches us Aleim Titinu Arbaim Ushtayim Ir. And in addition, you're going to add 42 cities. So clearly there are a lot more than 6. Amar Abaye explains Abaya. Halalu koltais. These 6 work. Bein ladas, bein shaloi ladas. Whereas halalu ladas, koltais, shaloi ladas, einai koltais. There was an intrinsic, or the right word is probably fundamental, difference between the different Ari Miklat. The original 6 of Yeshua and Moshe Rabbeinu were koltais, whether one knew about them or not, whereas other 42 needed das. Says the Gemara of a chaver near Miklat, is that true? Who? V'aksev, but the Torah says, V'inu lekelev es chavroin, kasher diber Moshe. Now Kalev was given chavroin, but we know that all the Ari Miklat were cities for Leviim. So how could he tell me that Chavroin was one of the Ari Miklat? Amar Abaye explains Abaye, Parvadaho. They gave to Kalev the surrounding areas, the Chsev, as the Yoyer, Ves Chatzireho, Nasul Kalev, Ben Yefune. Says the Gemara, V'kadesh yer Miklat Avoi. V'aksev, but the Torah teaches us, Ari Mivsar, Hatzadim, Hatzidim Ser, V'chamas Rakas V'kinor, Zekadesh Vadrei, Ve'ein Chetzer. And about this pasuk Vitanya, we learned in a Raisa 3 lines of the white lines. Aram alalu ein oisin oisam. We do not make them like tirin kitanim, like krachim gedailim. We do not make them into from areas of small villages of large cities. Ela yarais beinaniyos. So ask the Gemara if we see in the Torah that Ari Mivsar that these were the fortified large cities. The fortified large cities were those that were not supposed to be that, which Ari Mikla were made out of. Amar Rav Yosef explains Rav Yosef Tarti, Kadesh Havai. There's 2 areas called Kadesh, Amar Rav Ashi, Kigoin, Selikom, Va'akra, Dislikom. Like Selikom and the Akom and this village of Selika, the same name, 2 different areas. Gufa. Let's go a little bit deeper. And about this and we do not set the Ari Miklat Ella b'makai mayim, only in a place of water. V'mein shamayim, maybe on the mayim, we bring water there. V'mein shivnas al makim shvakim, in a place of marketplaces that there'll be food ready for them over there. Continues the Braisa, Vein by Shivan Isan Ella b'makim uchlusin. They only would make the Miklats in a place where there are population centers nearby. That there would be, the reason being, says Rashi, we don't want the Goyal Adam. Again, the whole reason of going to Ari Miklat is to save your life. That the Goyal Adam cannot get you. So he wanted to have protection. The Goyal Adam cannot get people and attack the city. Nismatu uchlusun. If the surrounding population diminished, then we don't want there to be a matziv that it can be attacked. Nismatu diyurehem. If the inhabitants of the city that are in Miklat proper diminish, you're not allowed to sell inside the Miklat. You cannot sell weapons or hunting gear. Chum said you're allowed to. They agree you're not allowed to put traps inside them. And you cannot make ropes inside the city. Today, why? We don't want to have the Goyal Adam any reason to come into the city because Rachmana litzlan, he has the right to kill. Now, obviously, in the Ari Miklat, he cannot, and that's why we're creating this safe haven. Amar Rav Yitzchak Ma'ikra, where do we see also in the pasuk? V'gam alachas min arim akel v'chai avid v'chai. Ends the pasuk. Avile midi, so we have to create a matziv. Explains Rav Yitzchak that what? That to have a chayusa, that the city should be a self-sufficient city in all regards. Tana, once we talk about v'chai, says the Braisa, Talmud Shagila Migalin Rabba Ima. If a Talmud has called out your miklat, his Rabbi goes with him. Shenemer v'chayavid. Lami did have lechayu. So you give him all forms of life. Omer Rav Zira Mikan Shlishana Adam LeTalmud Sheina. You shouldn't have a Talmud who's improper. Why? Because if he's going to kill you, you're going to have to go to Galz and Rav Yechlan. Harav Shegola. The yeshiva goes with him. How do we know that the Torah itself is Koltin? That the Torah itself provides refuge, and you don't have to, and no evil could befall. So asks the Gemara that the Torah itself should be a place of refuge akin to an Ari Miklat. So why does the Rebbe have to go to Ari Miklat at all? Says the Gemara, you're right. This is referring to Binya Deloy Asik Ba during when he's not teaching. Perhaps Ben Azmanim, he has to go to Ari Miklat. My Kolton, what does that mean? It means the Torah provides refuge from the Malach HaMaves. Kihad, Rav Chista, Avi Yosef, Igaris, Baby Rav, Levi Koyachol, Shlicha, the Malacha, the Musa, Lemekarev, Legabe, the Malach HaMaves is going to come close to Rav Chista, the Lavi Shasik, Pume, the Girsa. Why? Because he didn't stop learning. And of course, what happened? Salav Yosef Arza de Rav, the Malach HaMaves sent that a cedar tree fell outside the yeshiva, and Paka Arza Vishasik. The cedar split as the Malach HaMaves pushed it. He sat in it. Rav Chista stopped learning for a moment. In that moment, the Malach HaMaves was able to take hold of Rav Chista. So what it says that the Torah is making his matzel, it's an Ari Miklat. It means only the moments you're learning, but the moments not is not. And further, says the Gemara, doesn't necessarily mean it's a proper Ari Miklat. It means the Malach HaMaves can't get you, but the Goel Dam might be a different story. Omer Rav Tanchon Bar Chanilai. Rav Tanchon Bar Chanilai says, Vimna Zach Ruvain. Limana Yisba'atzalah. Tchila, what is the reason that Ruvain is listed, the city of Batzar, which happens to be in the Shevet of Ruvain? Why is it listed first? Says the Gemara, Mimnei Shu Pasach Ba'atzal Tchila. Ruvain tried to save Yosef first. Shneimar v'yishmai Ruvain. Darish Rav Simlai. Darish it's Maidach say, what is the meaning of the pasuk? As Yavdal Moshe al Shalom baby Yardei Mizrach Shemesh. Omar Lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu LeMoshe Hazarach Shemesh LeRaitzchim. The sun has set for murderers. That what? That you have to give them their needs, provide Ari Miklat. Some learn that no, you have caused the sun to be mazriach, to rise, that you, Moshe Rabbeinu, have created the Ari Miklat. Darish Rav Simai, Maidach Sev Oyev Kesel Yisbay Kesef. So what is the meaning of the pasuk? He who loves Kesef is never satiated. An incredible lesson we learn right now. The three cities, Ever Yardim, are not going to do what they do. Until what? Until the other three cities, Beaver, Canaan, till Eretz Canaan, till Yeshua is going to separate them later. And yet, what did Moshe Rabbeinu say? Amar mitzvah shabal yadai, I kaimenu. I'm going to do the mitzvah even if it's not going to have its fulfilled purpose. I'm still going to perform the mitzvah. Continues Rav Simai, b'ayiv b'maman lo'tvua. Who is the one that should teach Behamayin to the multitudes? What does that mean? He has such an incredible knowledge of Torah. 10 lines to the bottom. Whoever loves Limlami Behamayin, to him is the Tvua Yahavu Bey Rabbanan Nayu. The Rabbanan put his eyes on him, Barava Brei Derava, that he's the one that's going to get the incredible bracha of Torah. Simanashi Lomoid Ravina Lahamed, again, an incredible raya, as we keep on saying. Many have joined the Zichru bandwagon, 23 days, 23 daf. Let's continue. Rav Ashi Amar teaches Rav Ashi more on the topic of Talmud Torah. Kol ha'ohev lilmod behamoin lo yitvuah. V'hainu dem Rav Yossi bar Chanina Meidach Sev Cherev al Habadim v'gal lo Cherev al Tzavorai. When is that? When should there be a knife on your neck? So in AM shall Talmidei Chachamim. Of course, that's euphemistic, referring to Talmidei Chachamim Rachmana litzlan themselves. That what? When is it a Cherev on their necks? On their neck? Sheyoishvim v'oiskim ba'Torah. Bad if they learn by themselves. Not only that, they become silly. They become foolish. Ravina Amar. If you love to teach behamoin, whoever loves to teach the multitude, he'll have the produce. Rebbe, Harabi, Teir Lamadati, Merabai. I learned a lot of Teir, my Rebbeim. Mechavera, Yoiser, man, for my friends even more. But who's the most? Talmida, Yoiser, Mikulam. Amar Rav Yishav ben Levi, my Dech Sevar, is meaning the Pasuk, I'm the Seir, Glenim, Sherech, Yishalayim. Mi Garam, the Raglinu, Shiamdu, Milchama. Who causes such a time-sensitive lesson that we've been hearing the past year and a half, that the legs should be successful? Milchama, Sha'arei Yerushalayim. Sha'iskim ba'Torah. Amar Shimon Levi Meidach Sev. Sher Hamalos leDavid Samachta b'Merlim Yisrael Nelech. Omar David Neged Baruch Ben Shalaylam. Shamati b'nei Adam she'oimrim Asa Yom Zakin Zeh. When is this old man David Melch going to die? V'yavo Yishleima b'nai v'yivne beisa b'chira v'nala l'raglim simchasi Amar Loya Kadosh Baruch Hu. Responds Hashem. Chitayv yoim b'chatirecha me'elef. Toiv liyoim echad that you David shataisik ba'ater l'fnei me'elef oilois sha'asid. All the karbanos don't equal to one word of Torah, the incredible chizik that, of course, we must hear. And we continue in the last line, quoting from the Mishnah, has to be prepared roads to get to the Ari Miklat. Tanya Rav Lezben Yaakov Aimer, as we turn over to Yudam Beis. Miklat Ayukos Val Parashas Drachim. How would they know where the Ari Miklat was? The word Miklat was written on the crossroads, a sign pointing where to go. Kedei, for what reason? Sheyakar roitzeach v'yifta l'sham, he can know where to run. Yifta l'sham. Amar Rav Kana may kara tachal nach haderech asi l'cha chana l'derech, make preparations. Now we go into different ways that they darshan this topic of Ari Miklat. Toiv yasher Hashem al kin yerech hatayim v'darech. And l'chatayim yayref Hashem. For the chatayim, this is how he guides. Kal v'chaymer l'sadikim. Reish Lakish Pascal Pesachai Parshas Mihacha. V'ashalot tzida alikim ana liyade v'gaymer. K'shemer Maishal kadmani merasham yotzi rasha v'gaymer. But Makkos v'daber. What's these psukim referring to? B'shnei b'nei adam shargu as a nefesh. Echad harig b'shayig v'echad harig b'meizid. L'zein edim l'zein edim. So what does Hashem do? HaKadosh Baruch Hu mazminim l'pondik echad. Zeh sharig b'meizid who's chayim misa, but there was no edim. Yoshid achzas sulam sits under the ladder. Zeh sharig b'shayge, Yoshid b'sulam goes down the ladder of a nafla love, a hard guy. He falls on him and he kills him, and now he's chayav galus. Zeh sharig b'meizid nerag. Zeh sharig b'shayge, now will go to galus like he was deserving. Amar Ravuna, Amar Ravuna, Amar Ravuna, Amar Ravuna, Amar Ravuna, Menavim u'menaksuvim, teaches all these incredible Talmidim from Torah Nevi'im and Ksuvim. We learn B'derech sha'adam reitza leilech. Ba ma'ilicha naisai Kadosh Baruch Hu allows you to choose your path. Min ha'Torah, where do we see from the Torah? Dechsev lo yisilech imahem uksev kom l'chatam. Menavim dechsev ni Hashem lokecha melamidcha Allahi al madrichacha b'derech zutelech. Hashem, the Nevi'im teach us whichever direction you want to go, Hashem facilitates. The scoffers will scoff, but those, the rest, will find the incredible grace. Retziach goes to Ari Miklat, Umatza Gol Adam v'Hargai is Potter. Kasavar loyi ein mishpat maves begol Adam udechsev. Meisveis. Now we get a little bit more into the dinim. Ask the Gemara, v'loyin mishpat. What's the pasuk referring to? He didn't hate him yesterday. This is like the following Tana de Tanya. When the Torah says, when he's not hated him, it's Moshel Shaim yesterday. It's talking about the Rotzeach. Hamani Makayim, what do we do with the pasuk? V'lo ein mishra maves. V'kol adam ha'kasav midaber. That pasuk is referring to the goyel adam. Now, one last Mishnah, Tanan, Meisun Leishnei Tamid Chamim. We learned in the Mishnah that who accompanies the goyel, the Rotzeach, to the Milcham Shem Yahar Ganu B'derech. Maybe he's going to kill him on the way. V'idabru elav, and they should speak to him. So says the Gemara, what does it mean? Perhaps when we learned the Mishnah, one wondered, what does it mean they speak to him? My love, Demasrube. Sounds like they give him a hasra, ig katel, barkatalu. They tell the goyel adam, if you kill him, you'll be killed. So what do we see? We see the goyel adam is not allowed to kill him. Answers the Gemara, that's not what it means. He's allowed to kill him. But you know what they teach him? Don't do what you're allowed to do. He did not do it on purpose. You know what they say? Many shlichos there are, allow him to plead, allow the other people to plead on his behalf. We're going to stop over here. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata dishmai.